Good afternoon to you, or good evening again from Hamburg. And what a contrast. I mean, if you look behind me here, we look one way toward the water. It's a very peaceful setting, but if I can get Mark Waltz, who's shooting camera here, to just spin around, things have turned very serious here in just the last few minutes. That appears to be, I don't know if it's a car in an alleyway between two buildings that's been set on fire, or if that's actually a building or storefronts that have been set on fire. But there's a lot of smoke now emanating from that building just behind the white building there that you see sort of in the foreground. You know, we have seen this over and over again at these economic summits. I mean, going back to the WTO in Seattle back in 1999, when Seattle police fought running battles with protesters using tear gas, rubber bullets, flashbang grenades. We were there covering that as we were covering Bill Clinton, who was the president at the time. And I remember being out in the thick of it there with flashbang grenades going off all around us. And then it was Genoa for the G-8 in 2001, where cars were being overturned and set on fire, and there were pitched battles between protesters and police as well. And we see the same thing here in Hamburg now in 2017. You see a collection of anti-globalist protesters, anti-capitalist protesters. I'm sure that there are groups of anarchists who always show up at these things as well. And at the same time, there's probably a group of middle-class families who would be out here, I would expect, much more peacefully protesting the policies of these 20 richest nations of the world. But Melissa, it's what happens literally every time these leaders get together. But it's particularly aggressive in Europe here, because there's obviously a long history of aggressive and violent protests in Europe, particularly the older part of Europe, as we like to call it, Germany, France, countries like that. But we also, again, have seen this in the United States, which is why there was a move to put these in small, isolated places. Savannah, there was an island that in Russia that one of these was held at as well, where you had to take a hydrofoil to get to it. But now they're back in big cities again, and here we see it in Hamburg, and this is the result, where protesters can gain easy access to a major metropolitan center like this, and they know that if they cause a ruckus, it's going to get on global television, and it is going to make whatever point it is that they are trying to make, despite the destruction that it may cause as they carry this out, Melissa.
But John, you wonder, I mean, does it really make that point? Because like you said, this is expected. Obviously, police in Germany we're waiting for it. You say it's all over television. That's absolutely true. But are they, what kind of message are they actually getting out? Because they're not disrupting the meeting. The meeting is still going on. The leaders aren't near this. They know this is going to happen. They're certainly destroying the city, and they're causing a ton of physical damage and financial damage. But I don't know, like you said, some people are there, they're anarchists. Some people are protesting money. Some people are protesting capitalism. Others don't want trade, or whatever it is. Some of them probably don't know why they're there. So what message, I wonder, on the ground there, what do people think about the message that's getting out? What is it?
Well, each of these individual groups have whatever message it is that they are trying to get out. But here's the point, that by demonstrating violently, by setting things on fire, you've been enrolling coverage of this since you sat down to take over this program. If you switch on the other cable networks, they're all enrolling coverage of this as well.
Yeah, although
if you take a look at German TV, if you take a look at German TV, if you take a look at the other 24-hour news channels around the world, you're going to see these pictures. So whatever message it might be, and it might be a sharp message from some of these groups, it might be a muddled message from others, it might be a we don't really know what we're protesting against message from even other groups. It's being covered, and so they're getting their message out, whatever that message may be. And we're hearing the crack of that didn't sound like tear gas grenades. That was a sharper crack, which may indicate that they're now firing rubber bullets. We're not down there. I got to tell you, we are not down there on the streets, but that sharper report sounded like something that was not the firing of a tear gas, certainly not a flashbang grenade. Those have a very telltale sign. So I don't want to say that they're firing rubber bullets, but it certainly sounds like that's a different sound than we have heard so far today.
Okay. John Roberts, thank you for that.